What does it truly mean to be a high-value woman? In a world often obsessed with appearance and fleeting trends, we can easily lose sight of the deeper qualities that define true worth. Is it beauty, wealth, social status? Or is it something that lies within the strength of character, a sense of purpose, and the courage to grow despite life's challenges? If you've ever asked yourself these questions, you're in the right place. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more inspiring content. And if you find this video helpful, hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. A high-value woman knows that her worth isn't determined by what she looks like or what others say about her. True value isn't skin deep. It's reflected in the way she carries herself and how she treats others. Beauty fades, trends shift, and applause quiets, but inner virtues like kindness, integrity, and wisdom stand the test of time. A high-value woman focuses on building her character because she understands that her inner strength is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Her life is not driven by the need for approval, but by a sense of purpose. She lives with intention, aware that her time and energy are precious. Rather than drifting aimlessly, she sets meaningful goals and pursues them with unwavering dedication. Whether it's excelling in her career, nurturing her relationships, or contributing to her community, her actions are guided by her desire to leave a positive impact. But life is not without trials. Challenges, disappointments, and setbacks are inevitable. Yet, a high-value woman doesn't crumble under pressure. She doesn't see failure as an end, but as a step toward growth. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to refine her strength and resilience. When she stumbles, she rises not bitter, but wiser. When faced with heartbreak or rejection, she chooses to grow rather than shrink. This resilience becomes the cornerstone of her journey, shaping her into someone who can weather life's storms with grace. Kindness is a quality she chooses, not because it's easy, but because it's powerful. In a world that can be harsh, she dares to be compassionate. She extends understanding and grace, even when it's undeserved, because she knows that kindness can build bridges where others build walls. It's not a weakness, but a quiet strength that can transform not just the lives of others, but her own. Her influence is subtle, yet profound, not born from control, but from the way she uplifts those around her. By listening, empathizing, and offering support, she creates an environment where people feel valued and understood. She knows that success isn't a solo journey and that her legacy isn't defined by accolades, but by the lives she touches. Every small act of kindness, every encouraging word, and every moment of genuine presence becomes a ripple that spreads hope and positivity. In a world that often chases the superficial, a high-value woman dares to be authentic. She doesn't wear masks to fit in or dim her light to make others comfortable. Instead, she embraces who she is, flaws and all, and aligns her actions with her values, even when no one is watching. This quiet commitment to integrity builds unshakable trust, not only from others, but within herself. She becomes a constant in a chaotic world, someone whose presence reassures and inspires. Her life is an unfolding journey of purpose, resilience, and service. And while the world may not always notice her greatness, those whose lives she has touched will never forget her. This is just the beginning of what it means to be a high-value woman. Stay with me as we dive deeper into how she cultivates wisdom, emotional intelligence, and balance. A high-value woman's journey is shaped by her sense of purpose, a calling that goes beyond personal success or material gain. Purpose is the compass that guides her through moments of uncertainty and doubt, reminding her why she started and where she's headed. She doesn't live passively, waiting for life to happen to her. Instead, she moves with clarity and intention, knowing that every choice she makes shapes her future. Her purpose isn't discovered overnight. It often unfolds through exploration and reflection. She is unafraid to try new things, even if it means risking failure. To her, each experience, whether successful or not, offers valuable lessons that help her refine her goals and deepen her understanding of herself. She embraces experimentation, knowing that true growth doesn't come from standing still, but from daring to take steps forward. Once she gains clarity about her purpose, she learns to focus her energy. Purposeful living requires saying no to distractions that don't align with her vision. A high-value woman understands that her time and energy are limited resources. She doesn't chase fleeting trends or societal expectations, but prioritizes what truly matters to her. This ability to focus allows her to direct her efforts toward pursuits that bring lasting meaning and fulfillment. Her pursuit of purpose is not just about ambition, it's about service. She knows that her gifts and talents are not only for her benefit, but for the good of others. Whether through her work, relationships, or contributions to her community, she seeks to uplift and empower those around her. Service is not a burden, but a joy that adds depth to her journey. It connects her individual goals to something greater than herself, reminding her that true fulfillment comes not just from personal achievements, but from making a difference in the lives of others. But even with a strong sense of purpose, the path is not always smooth. Obstacles, setbacks, and criticism are inevitable. A high-value woman faces these challenges with resilience and determination. She doesn't allow temporary defeats to define her or diminish her vision. Instead, she adapts, finding creative solutions and new ways forward. She views obstacles not as walls, but as stepping stones that strengthen her resolve. Resilience isn't just about perseverance, it's about emotional strength. A high-value woman understands the importance of emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize, manage, and respond to emotions, both her own and those of others. This emotional awareness allows her to navigate conflicts with grace and maintain harmony in her relationships. Instead of reacting impulsively, she takes time to process her emotions and respond thoughtfully. Her calm presence becomes a source of stability for those around her. She also knows when to seek support. Being resilient doesn't mean handling everything alone. A high-value woman builds a circle of trusted friends and mentors who encourage her, challenge her, and remind her of her strength during difficult times. She is not afraid to ask for help when needed, understanding that vulnerability is not weakness, it's a form of courage. Her resilience is rooted in self-care. She prioritizes rest, reflection, and activities that nourish her spirit. She knows that burnout doesn't serve her purpose and that taking care of her well-being is essential to showing up fully for her goals and the people she loves. Self-care isn't indulgence, it's a discipline that sustains her resilience and allows her to keep moving forward, even when the road is long. Through it all, she remains adaptable. Purpose is not a rigid destination, but a dynamic process. As she grows and gains new insights, her purpose may shift, expand, or take on new forms. She welcomes these changes with openness, knowing that staying true to her core values doesn't mean clinging to the past, it means evolving as life unfolds. A high-value woman's commitment to her purpose makes her journey meaningful, no matter how difficult the road becomes. Her ability to balance ambition with service, resilience with rest, and strength with humility allows her to thrive. Wisdom is one of the cornerstones of a high-value woman's life. But wisdom isn't simply the accumulation of knowledge, it's the ability to discern what is right, good, and true through reflection and experience. A high-value woman doesn't seek wisdom to appear superior or win arguments. She seeks it to navigate life with purpose and clarity. She listens more than she speaks, knowing that understanding often comes from silence and observation. When faced with challenges, she doesn't act impulsively. Instead, she reflects, processes, and responds in a way that aligns with her values. Her wisdom grows not from avoiding mistakes, but from learning through them. She understands that no one is immune to failure, but she refuses to let mistakes define her. Instead of drowning in regret, she asks herself, "What can this teach me?" and uses the lesson to strengthen her future decisions. This ability to turn setbacks into stepping stones is what sets her apart. Equally important to her wisdom is her integrity. Integrity is the unwavering commitment to live authentically and honorably, even when no one is watching. A high-value woman doesn't compromise her values for short-term gain or approval. She chooses honesty, even when it's difficult, and remains true to her principles, regardless of the situation. This consistency builds trust not only from others, but within herself. She becomes someone others can rely on because her words and actions align. Integrity also means having the courage to make the right decisions, even when they come at a cost. She doesn't bend her morals for convenience or fear of judgment. This quiet strength gives her a magnetic presence, drawing people who respect her authenticity and value her wisdom. However, she doesn't use her integrity to judge others harshly. Instead, she approaches others with grace and understanding, recognizing that everyone is on their own journey. Humility is another trait that defines a high-value woman. Far from being self-deprecating, humility is the recognition that her worth is not tied to being better than others. It's the understanding that her strengths don't make her invincible and her weaknesses don't make her unworthy. She knows her limits and isn't afraid to seek guidance or admit when she's wrong. This humility allows her to learn from others and form meaningful connections based on mutual respect. Rather than viewing the success of others as a threat, she celebrates their wins. She believes that lifting others up doesn't diminish her own light. In fact, it makes her stronger. This mindset creates an atmosphere of collaboration rather than competition, and her humility fosters deep, authentic relationships. Reflection plays a significant role in her growth. In quiet moments of introspection, she takes the time to examine her actions, thoughts, and motivations. But she doesn't do this to criticize herself or dwell on past mistakes. Instead, she engages in honest self-assessment, seeking alignment between who she is and who she wants to become. Self-reflection helps her recognize areas for improvement while also allowing her to celebrate how far she's come. Gratitude is another key to her inner strength. By focusing on what she has rather than what she lacks, she cultivates a spirit of contentment and joy. Gratitude doesn't make her complacent, it fuels her resilience and her desire to give back. When she appreciates her blessings, she becomes more generous with her time, talents, and resources. Her gratitude enables her to see beauty in both the extraordinary and the mundane, enriching her inner world. By practicing wisdom, integrity, humility, and gratitude, a high-value woman builds an unshakable foundation. These virtues don't make her immune to life's hardships, but equip her with the tools to rise above them with grace. Her quiet strength and authenticity inspire others to do the same. A high-value woman's strength is also rooted in emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and manage her emotions while empathizing with others. She knows that emotions are not obstacles to overcome, but valuable guides that reveal what truly matters. Instead of suppressing her feelings or allowing them to control her, she practices self-awareness. When she feels overwhelmed, she pauses, takes a breath, and grounds herself. This allows her to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Her emotional intelligence enables her to build deeper connections with others. She listens with empathy, not just to respond, but to understand. When someone shares their pain, she doesn't rush to offer solutions or shift the focus to herself. Instead, she creates a safe space where they feel heard and supported. This presence strengthens trust and builds relationships where mutual respect thrives. Her ability to manage conflict with grace means she can navigate difficult conversations without escalating tension. However, emotional intelligence isn't only about understanding others, it's also about recognizing her own needs and boundaries. A high-value woman knows that she cannot pour from an empty cup. She prioritizes self-care, understanding that rest and restoration are necessary, not indulgent. She gives herself permission to pause when needed, knowing that stepping back doesn't mean giving up, it means replenishing her strength so she can continue forward with purpose. She surrounds herself with people who inspire, challenge, and uplift her. The company she keeps reflects her values and goals. Instead of clinging to relationships out of obligation or fear of loneliness, she chooses connections that encourage her growth. She invests her time and energy in relationships built on trust, respect, and reciprocity. These supportive bonds act as mirrors, reflecting her strengths and helping her recognize areas for improvement. But a high-value woman also knows the importance of offering the same support she seeks. She is someone who shows up for others not just in grand gestures, but in small, consistent ways. Whether it's a comforting word, a thoughtful check-in, or simply holding space for someone who's struggling, she leads with compassion. Her influence is felt in how she makes others feel valued and seen. Her ability to balance strength with vulnerability makes her someone others gravitate toward. She doesn't pretend to have everything figured out or hide behind a facade of perfection. Instead, she leads with authenticity, showing that it's possible to be strong and open-hearted at the same time. This vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to her courage. By embracing her full range of emotions, she gives others permission to do the same, creating environments where honesty and healing can flourish. Adaptability is another pillar of her resilience. Life is unpredictable, and change is inevitable. Instead of resisting the unknown, she remains flexible and open to new possibilities. When plans fall apart or circumstances shift, she doesn't cling to what could have been. She recalibrates and finds new ways forward. This ability to pivot without losing sight of her core values allows her to thrive, even in uncertainty. She also practices forgiveness, not as a way to excuse harmful behavior, but as a way to free herself from the weight of resentment. She understands that holding on to anger only drains her energy and keeps her tethered to the past. Forgiveness allows her to release what she cannot control and reclaim her peace. But she is mindful about setting boundaries, ensuring that forgiveness doesn't mean allowing others to cross her limits or disregard her worth. Resilience is strengthened by reflection and celebration. A high-value woman takes time to acknowledge her progress, no matter how small. She recognizes the courage it takes to keep moving forward and honors the victories that often go unnoticed by the world. Celebrating her growth isn't an act of pride, it's a practice of gratitude that fuels her journey. Living with purpose means embracing balance. A high-value woman is ambitious, but understands that relentless pursuit without rest leads to burnout. She doesn't equate productivity with self-worth and knows that stepping back to recharge is essential for long-term growth. Balance allows her to sustain the energy she needs to pour into her goals and her relationships. She practices self-care not just through physical rest, but by nurturing her mind and spirit with activities that bring her peace and joy. Whether it's a quiet morning of reflection, a walk in nature, or time spent with loved ones, she recognizes that restoration is not a reward but a necessity. Yet balance also requires discipline. A high-value woman knows that living intentionally means choosing to stay focused on what aligns with her purpose. She is intentional about how she spends her time and who she spends it with. She's not afraid to say no to distractions that don't serve her vision, understanding that boundaries are a form of self-respect. She prioritizes what adds meaning to her life and releases what doesn't, even when it's difficult. Her commitment to discipline isn't driven by external validation, but by the inner fulfillment that comes from knowing she's moving toward her dreams. She puts in the work not because she wants applause, but because she values the process of growth. Whether she's dedicating time to her passions, nurturing her relationships, or contributing to her community, she approaches each pursuit with diligence and grace. At the heart of her discipline is gratitude. A high-value woman doesn't wait until she reaches a milestone to feel grateful. She finds beauty and purpose in the everyday moments, the quiet progress, the small victories, and even the lessons learned in hardship. Gratitude shifts her focus from what she lacks to what she has, fostering contentment and resilience. When she celebrates her journey, she strengthens her ability to keep moving forward with hope and joy. Her influence extends far beyond her individual achievements. A high-value woman's true legacy is built on service. She understands that her talents and strengths are not meant to be kept for herself, but shared to uplift and empower others. Service, to her, is not about recognition or reward, it's about contributing to something greater than herself. Whether she mentors someone at work, volunteers her time, or offers a listening ear to a friend in need, She creates ripples of kindness that extend far beyond what she can see. Her leadership is rooted in empathy and humility. She doesn't lead by trying to dominate or control, but by inspiring and guiding others. She leads by example, showing through her actions what it means to live with integrity, compassion, and perseverance. Her presence reminds others that strength and kindness are not opposing forces, but complementary virtues that, together, create lasting change. Advocacy is also an important part of her service. A high-value woman speaks up for what she believes is right, not to seek attention, but to promote fairness and justice. She uses her voice to amplify the voices of those who may not be heard and stands against injustice with courage. But even in advocacy, she remains respectful, understanding that true influence comes from thoughtful dialogue, not aggression or divisiveness. As she gives to others, she remains mindful of her boundaries. She knows that service isn't about sacrificing her well-being for the sake of others, but about contributing from a place of abundance. By caring for herself, she ensures that she can show up fully for those who rely on her. In the end, a high-value woman's life is defined not by the title she earns or the accolades she receives, but by the lives she touches and the hope she inspires. Her legacy is built on love, resilience, and purpose. She leaves behind a trail of encouragement, reminding those she encounters that they, too, have the power to rise and create a meaningful life. Thank you for joining me on this journey of reflection and growth. If this message resonated with you, please like this video, subscribe for more empowering content, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, you are capable of incredible growth, and your journey has the power to uplift others. Let's continue walking this path together.